They're all messed up.
Hi, I am Ozzy the Wonder Squirrel. Don't forget to watch Evil Dead Chick on Deadites on Deck on YouTube. Oh, and subscribe, man.
Bring on the horror! Evil Dead Chick presents HorrorMania! The scariest time you will ever experience on YouTube. Get ready to be thrilled, chilled, and fulfilled by my quest to see every horror movie ever made. Bring on the vampires, zombies, and werewolves. Don't forget the maniacs slashing their way through your front door. The ghosts, the ghouls, and the creepy critters under your feet. Bring on the horror! Evil Dead Chick presents HorrorMania! Howdy, gang, and welcome to yet another edition of HorrorMania. We're already up to episode 5. We're going to be covering horror films from 1917 to 1919. And next week, we're going to be moving into the 20s. So, where I've been covering several years, probably be limited to like 1920. I know I may have to divide it up into 2 separate episodes. As we get further in to these horror manias and there's more and more movies per year, I will have to divide them up maybe into 2 sessions, 3 sessions, maybe possibly into 4 sessions for each year. Hey, the poet, the poet, I'm loving the wrestling things to go along with HorrorMania. You said that's the bottom line because HorrorMania said so. Hey, Kits, Kids, you say I take a lot of inspiration from this era of films. 1920s has fantastic choices. And excuse me, it definitely does. I do agree with you there. Um, Now, I was only able to watch two of these, but I think they were some of the best. And I'm going to tell you which one I liked the best out of the two that I did watch. But we're going to talk about all of these coming up here in just a couple of minutes. But I do want to remind you guys and gals, as I've been trying to remind people, um, that as much as I appreciate the super chats and super stickers and people joining my channel, people joining my Patreon, people buying stuff from the shop, I also realize that especially in this day and age, everybody's not made out of money, right? So I just want to share again with you guys and gals that there are several different ways that you can support me and the channel and get me up into the algorithms of YouTube. And one of those ways that I don't talk about, but I'm going to mention because kids brought it up, is by sharing a link to my channel. And Kits has been kind enough and generous enough to do that. So I just wanted to bring that one up because that's one that I usually forget about talking about. So one of the ways is by subscribing. There's never a bad time to subscribe to not only my channel, but anybody else's channel that you're enjoying the content they're putting out. It's free. And I, for one, I'm not going to, bother you about how many or how few videos and live streams that you either attend or watch. I don't care. I don't even have to know which people subscribe, and apparently there's a way you can keep people from seeing what you subscribe to. Kid says, yep, hit share under the video. It will prompt you to make a post and tag the channel. So there you go, folks. That's exactly the way to do it. Thank you, kids. Because again, that's one that I neglected to think about for the longest time until kids actually brought that up. So, and once you subscribe, you can hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the new content I've got coming out. Then you can like stuff that you especially enjoy. And heck, if you like it all, hit that like button all across the board. And here's one more way that you can support me and the channel. It won't cost you a dime, won't cost anybody that you tell about the channel a dime. And it kind of goes along with what Kids was saying. It's to share my channel with friends and family members that you think might enjoy the content that I'm putting out. And my channel handle is @Deadites on Deck. And if you feel so inclined and want to do a little shopping on the Deadites on Deck shop at deaditesondeck.com, head on over and see all the designs I have for t-shirts and hats and mouse pads and tote bags, the blended teas, the horror candles, etc., that I have on the site. And new stuff is coming up as soon as I get my button gear to put it on there, including jackets that you can get for your favorite live streamer or podcaster. And those are customizable. You can get them in men's or women's. You can get them in a variety of colors. If you have an idea now for one, you can fill out the handy dandy form on the home page of the shop and tell me, hey, I would want one of these. These are $150, and that's due to supplies and the time it would take me to put them together. Now, some people may be thinking that's a little steep, and that's okay. I understand. But if you're in the market for finding something for your favorite live streamer or podcaster, or you want to get one for yourself, that's fine. Just tell me how you want it designed, and I will get the patches and the buttons and all that stuff that I need to make this a reality for you. Oh, and don't forget size too, as well, because I've got them from small. Um, I'll have them available from small to extra large. Okay. So just wanted to let you know that you can go ahead and request those now, even though I don't have them for sale up on the site uh, as we speak. But if you're not a horror fan, let's say you just want to get something for a baseball team, or um, you've got a business or side business, or a friend or family member's got a business or side business, or you just want to get a gift for somebody that does live streams or something, you want to get something with their brand on it, right? So if you need help with a logo, I'd be willing to work with you on a logo. If you're not sure if I can sublimate, which is how I do my shirts and hats, etc., etc., let me know what it is that you're wanting, what product you're wanting to put a logo on. Okay. And I will work with you. You tell me what you want, and I will put a mock up together, and I will run it by you and say, hey, how is this? If that's not what you want, we'll back up and punt. I will keep working with you on that. Also, if you buy things in bulk, I will give you a discount on bulk items. And also, there's a flat rate of shipping of $6, no matter if you buy 1 item, 10 items, 50 items, 100 items, 200 items, whatever. Okay. You can't get that very many places now. Okay. So I'm ready to get into these movies after I after I read the poet's comment. He says, can't wait till we get to the It Came from Space films. Yes. And I mean, we're going to be covering it all. If it's considered horror or horror sci-fi, more than likely we're going to be covering it. So anyway, let's get to the 1917 films. So we have one called The Golem and the Dancing Girl, which is a 1917 German silent comedy horror film, directed by Raucus Jalise and Paul Wegner. And Paul Wegner actually co-directed and wrote and starred in this one. The release date was January 15th, 1917. Unfortunately, this is considered a lost film, so I was not able to watch it. But Troy Howarth wrote that it remains one of the earliest filmed examples of a horror spoof. The plot is, it's a parody of the 1915 film Der Golem. Wegner plays an actor who, upon discovering the fear his performance generates when he assumes the role of the golem in a film, he decides to wear the costume to a party in order to make an impression on a dancer who is also attending the party. Okay, so that's about all we know about that film. The next one I was able to watch, Fear, also from 1917, which is a German silent film written and directed by Robert Wine. The original soundtrack to the film was lost and replaced by another donated by Leslie Shepard. Now, the version I watched and the version that I've got a link to on YouTube, and there's another version. So if you want to check out the other version to see if it actually has a soundtrack, you could do that. The reason why I picked this one is because it was upscaled and it also had English subtitles. Now, the other one might have English subtitles, but the other one didn't tell me it did, and this one did. Fear's one of your favorites, kids? Yes, I really enjoyed this one, but the last one I'm going to talk about was my absolute favorite. Oh, you were shown this film when you were a kid. That is cool. So the plot concerns a Count Grevin, who returns to his castle after spending several years touring the world. And he likes looking for rare, pieces of artwork and pieces of art in general, like statues and stuff. Um, Upon his return, uh, his servants find him withdrawn and fearful, and he orders that all the doors to the castle be kept locked, and nobody that he doesn't know can be admitted into the castle. Okay. So one of his servants becomes very disturbed that his master is acting in such a way, and this is totally unlike him. So he gets the town minister to come see the count, and the count confesses to the town minister that he stole a statue of Buddha from a temple in India. And when the temple's priest found out about it, he swore a terrible revenge upon him. The Indian priest appears one night and warns the count with that he will only have 7 years to live life to its fullest, after which he will die by the hand of the one who loves him most. So he tries to get rid of the statue by throwing it into a lake, only to find that the statue is back in his home when he returns. So he falls in love with a woman and he's supposed to marry her, but he remembers what the Indian priest said, that he would have 7 years to live and then he would die by the one he loves the most. So he becomes paranoid and fearful that his beloved is going to kill him. So he commits suicide by shooting himself, and then the priest takes the statue back to India. The film was well received by critics who praised Wine's interpretation of psychology and his portrayal of paranoia. Fear has not been officially released in any format for home media, making it an obscure and rare film. A print, though, is at the Swedish Film Institute. Oldies.com did release a bootleg version on DVD-R that ran about 1 hour. This version includes the original soundtrack by Joseph Martin. Wine also directed The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, which we're going to eventually get to as well. And like I said, there is a link in the description for this video where you can watch this film. All right. So moving on to 1918, we have a film called Auron. It's a 1918 Hungarian science fiction horror film. But again, sadly, this one is lost. So there's not a lot known about it. Auron is German for mandrake, and the film is based on the novel by Heinz Ewers that was first published in 1911. The plot basically is a mad scientist creates a beautiful but demonic child from the forced union between a woman and a mandrake root fed by the blood of a hanged man, which this sounds absolutely intriguing. But sadly, again, this film is believed to be lost. The running time also was 80 minutes on this film. Moving on to 1919, the film is The Beetle. A 1919 British silent horror film directed by Alexander Butler. It was based on the 1897 novel The Beatles by Richard Marsh. Sadly, this film is also considered to be lost. There is no video and no stills that can be found. The running time on this one is 62 minutes, and the release date, November 1919. So let me tell you a little bit about the plot of The Beatles. Or The Beetle, rather, sorry. So the basic story of the beetle is a beetle is possessed by the soul of an ancient Egyptian princess who is determined to get her revenge on a member of the British Parliament. Which, man, this makes me want to seek out the novel and watch it. But also, I wish that I'd been able to see this because this one sounds intriguing as well. Which brings us to the last movie, which is an anthology film. And this was my favorite of the two I watched. I enjoyed Fear very much, but Eerie Tales is a 1919 German silent anthology film directed by Richard Oswald. So the basic wraparound plot to this is that after an old bookshop closes, portraits of a strumpet, death, and the devil come to life and amuse themselves by reading stories about themselves. Four of the stories are literary horror. There's one by Edgar Allan Poe and one by R.L. Stevenson. And the last one is a comedy involving a fake haunting by Judy Show. The runtime's 112 minutes on this, give or take a few minutes. I think the version I watched was an hour and 41 minutes. I do have a link for it in the description for this video in case you want to check it out. The release date was November 5th, 1919. This is one of the earliest examples of a horror anthology. And it did not disappoint, folks, in my book. Because I love horror anthologies. I absolutely love them. So let's talk a little bit about the 5 stories in this horror anthology. So the first one is The Apparition. A man helps a woman escape from her insane ex-husband, only for her to vanish from a hotel room with the staff claiming she never existed, which was an interesting little story. The second story is The Hand. 2 men compete for the same woman, leading to a duel of dice, murder, and ghostly vengeance. This one was a lot of fun as well. I don't think really there was a weak story in the bunch for Eerie Tales. The third story is The Black Cat by Edgar Allan Poe. Based on, of course, the Edgar Allan Poe story, a drunk murders his wife and walls her up with her cat, who I guess he assumes is dead as well. The cat reveals his crime because when the cops show up and want to search for this guy's wife because they believe that he murdered his wife, and they say, do you have a basement? And he takes them down the basement. He's like this, like he thinks that, it's not going to be revealed because he walled his wife up with the cat and he thought they were both dead. Well, we start hearing cat noises, and then so one of the cops takes a pickaxe and chops down the wall, and the cat comes out, and then they further discover the guy's wife's body behind the wall. Excellent film, or excellent little story. I believe I've read The Black Cat by Edgar Allan Poe, but it's been a few years, so I forgot the actual meat of the story, which this one was so much fun watching. I think this one was my favorite of the 5 stories in this, but I liked this film overall as well. The 4th story is The Suicide Club by Robert Louis Stevenson. So a man joins a secret club for people who are wanting to die, only to discover that the leader makes it more dangerous than expected, which is an interesting little story as well. And the final story, the 5th story, The Spectre, is the comedy one by Judy Shove. So this is a comedic story featuring a braggart who encourages his wife to have an affair. And this leads to a fake haunting. Interesting little story. I like the mixture of horror and humor in it. Very well made. This was one of the best made films that I've covered during HorrorMania. These are very good choices, kids. Yeah, I mean, the story, if you're talking about the stories that comprised Eerie Tales, yeah, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic choices. But although I loved both of the films, Fear and Eerie Tales, Eerie Tales was my absolute favorite because, like I said, I love a good horror anthology. Any day of the week, I love a good horror anthology. And this one was definitely a fantastic example of an early horror anthology. So, guys and gals, I have reached the end of another episode of HorrorMania. I hope you guys and gals will be intrigued enough to check out the links for Fear and Eerie Tales that I have in the description for the video, if you feel so inclined. But apologies that I showed their all messed up intro, and I should have showed Insomnia Cure because I got confused on my days and thought today was Wednesday and it's Tuesday. But we will be having Insomnia Cure tomorrow night, God willing, and the creek don't rise. And they're all messed up on Thursday. And we've got a Slasher Fest coming up on Friday, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time as opposed to 8 p.m. Eastern Time like the other stuff is for the Prowler. So be sure to join me for all this stuff coming up if you can. If you can't, feel free to watch it on the replay. And I want to thank Kits and the Poet for being in the chat and keeping me company tonight as I navigated through this episode of HorrorMania. For those of you that were watching along, maybe didn't feel comfortable getting in the chat, or you were watching the stream on a device where you're not able to chat at the same time. Hey, Stacy. Then I thank you as well. And for those of you that didn't get to join me live or didn't get to join me live for the whole thing and you watch this on the replay, I thank you guys and gals as well. And as always, I'm off like a dirty shirt. This shirt ain't dirty, but I'm off like one. And I want to remind everybody, as I always do before I get off of here for the night, to be kind to one another and blaze that trail. Have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday night, folks. And I'll see everybody next time.